Disney Girl back for another Disney's Magic Kingdoms game prediction video. So in this video, we are going to be talking about Moana possibly coming to the kingdom very soon. So we need another limited time event as soon as the Tower Challenge number 5 is over. So I am thinking that Moana seems to make sense. Why Moana? Well, we are continuing with the princesses in the kingdom. We are also continuing to collect all the princesses' comfy cozy costumes from the Ralph Breaks the Internet movie. So we have been adding to the collection. We added most recently, we added Mulan. So that was pretty fun during the Tower Challenge. So a lot of us were able to collect that. I missed out on that one, unfortunately, but hopefully they will allow us to collect it some other way very soon. So Moana seems to make sense. She is one of those Disney princesses that is in the princess dressing room, so I'm thinking it would make sense that we continue along with those characters. The other character collection that I think we might do a prediction video on soon would be Pocahontas, because a lot of you guys thought that that could be the other option, especially with Earth Day so close to us. So, okay, I'm thinking a couple of things here. We'll talk about characters first. There are a few different variations that they could do for this. So the very first character, naturally, is going to be Moana. So I think Moana is going to come in this particular costume or have this particular look right off the get-go. I think there are going to be 2 additional costumes to her collection. I don't know when specifically we'd be able to collect them throughout the event, but usually they leave it until the end. So they usually, depending on where we collect her sort of in the whole scheme of things, if we collect her a little bit earlier on, then we will be able to get her costumes or start collecting for them a bit early. But if it is like the Princess and the Frog limited time event that we just had, then we're looking at probably working on those things probably after we get the very last character. So it'll just depend on how they decide to set it up. So I have a few different ways I'll talk about throughout the video. So the first one is going to be her comfy cozy costume. So we don't really get a very good look at it here or in the movie, but we definitely know that she has an orange tank top, and it did look super cute in stores when I actually saw the shirt, so I know that it is going to be a pretty cute costume. And of course, all these Disney princesses look adorable in their costumes. I love it. I think my favorite still, though, is Cinderella's so far. I think next after that is probably going to be pretty close between Snow White and Mulan. Mind you, I'm sure when I see the Frozen one, I'm going to totally change my mind on that. I just love them all. Let's face it, they're all super duper cute. The other costume, which I thought that would be in the game, would be Moana's more chief look. So this is like her chief costume. Now this is at the end of the movie. She does have another look, which we can take a look at a little bit later. And I think that would be more for a concession stand, that particular I guess hat or whatever. I think that is, or crown, I guess that is going to be more for a concession stand. This one seems more realistic. And the 2, there has been collector dolls of Moana in this particular look. So I've actually seen those as well, and they are very pretty. So I am thinking that this seems to make sense as Moana's like chief or princess look here. So I think this would be a wonderful, beautiful outfit. I think I'd be more excited about this than the comfy cozy costume, believe it or not, because this look is just super cool. Alright, the next character to talk about, and the second one, will be Maui. Naturally, we can't have a Moana event without Maui. It just would not be the same. So the demigod, okay, yeah, he is gonna be awesome. I think he's gonna talk to his tattoo a lot. I think that's just gonna be sort of how it goes. They're gonna have to do something really funny with that, I think. And Maui is played by The Rock. So The Rock is hilarious, so we're gonna get a lot of great dialogue, I'm sure, for Maui. Will Maui have a costume? No, because his look doesn't really change. However, the one thing that he does change into is he shapeshifts, so they could have him transforming, but I think that'll just be a quest. I don't think they'll actually give him a costume for that. Alright, the third character I think we're going to get is Pua. Now, Pua has a pretty significant role at the beginning of the Moana movie, but not so much later on. but I definitely think that he would be a great addition to the kingdom, and he's super cute, and everybody loves the pig. Everybody, face it, Pua is definitely a fan favorite. There's no way that they're gonna have this event without Pua. Now, speaking of Pua, I think that he might be one of those ones that they add as a paid character. So whether it's the first one about 200 gems or the second one, which is about 400 usually, it doesn't really matter which order it goes in, I guess. For me, it's just more, I think that it would make sense that Pua would be one of the paid characters there. Now the second one, and well, he has a little bit more of a role in the movie, and definitely very comedic one for sure. I think he's probably my favorite character, is Hey Hey. My favorite character scene with him is when he's on the boat and he realizes he's in the middle of the ocean, and he just screams at the top of his lungs. And yeah, Moana puts a coconut on his head. Hopefully you guys know what scene that is. It's super duper funny. I think I've posted it on my Instagram a few times too, because it's just, I laugh at it all the time. So Hey Hey would be the other paid character. So I think that it would be Pua and Hey Hey would be the two, and I think that that would really encourage a lot of us to try and collect these two, because obviously they are the animals in the collection, and again, super duper adorable. It's like a must-have. I don't think there'll be much dialogue with them, but definitely I think a lot of the quests would be pretty fun. All right, next, and this one, well, this is going to be a huge character, like ginormous, and that is, well, you can see him now. Tamateo, yes, the shiny crab. He likes everything shiny, and he needs to be in the kingdom for sure, because you know what? He's going to definitely challenge Maui a few times, and I think the quest for that will be lots of fun. Now, whether he's considered the villain in this event or not, that's to be determined. I think that it's a possibility. We could go that route of, you know, maybe him stealing something. I don't know. We'll just sort of have to wait and see with that. I'm not totally sure what they're going to do, but we'll sort of have to wait and see. We know that he definitely steals the demigod's hook, so Maui's hook, at some point throughout the whole process of the heart of Te Fiti being stolen. So with all of that, I think that that could be a really good way, if we wanted to have a villain in all of this. I think Tamateo could play a very, very convincing villain for sure. I think that would actually be pretty cool if we did it that way. Now, again, there are other ways, but we'll talk about that a little later. Okay, so he is the fifth character. So the sixth character I am thinking that we kind of have to have, because I love her so much, and she does play a huge role with Moana, is Grandma Tala. So whether they decide to do her in human or ghost form, that's really, you know, up for debate there. I know they usually try and leave characters that have passed away. They tend to leave them that way. So like Ray, for example, they left him pass away. But then there are other characters that they sort of bring back, like for example, Scar, or even Maleficent, or the Evil Queen. Like they have all come back. Even though they've apparently passed on to another life, they seem to manage to come back to the kingdom naturally. So I think it would be really fun if we had Grandma Tala for sure. Again, a ghost form, that would leave a lot of options too for the expansion of the Mulan characters and stuff like that, because definitely we could have a lot of the ghosts for that for sure too. All right, so next we are going to talk about who would be the seventh character. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and I'm not quite sure which way they're going to spin it. It just depends on how they decide to set up the event. We could have Chief Tui. Now, again, Chief Tui is amazing, and I think that naturally he needs to come in, or he could come in a little bit later, maybe during a tower challenge, but he would definitely make the most sense, maybe even as a starting character. Either maybe Grandma Tala or Chief Tui can be the starting character for this event. Now, the other possibility is Cinna, which is Moana's mom. But again, I feel like if we had to choose one of the two, I'm thinking it's going to be Chief Tui. Again, if you guys have any feedback or any other ideas or predictions, you guys can leave them in the comment section below. All right, or they could go this route, and this is sort of the route I'm hoping they do, to be honest, is do Kakamora. Now, obviously, Kakamora is sort of in the middle there, but he's awesome. And I think that they could do a really, really, really fun attraction with that. They could also make him the villain and just have a whole bunch of coconuts attacking and stuff like that, the kingdom, and we have to take down Kakamora. I don't know. Like, I don't think so, but it would be really cool if they wanted to incorporate him as a villain. It would definitely add some humor into the event for sure. But I think, too, Kakamora could be one of those Tower Challenge characters that they add later as well. So I think that's more likely, but I would definitely love to have Kakamora and Cinna if we decide to go with the 7th character being Chief Tui. All right, now the other possibility, and now this is maybe a long shot here, but I'm just thinking about it, is that we could even go so far as to say Te Fiti would be a character. Now that could be really, really interesting, especially if we were to do something like the battlegrounds would be Te Kā, and the only way that we can collect for Te Fiti would be to beat Te Kā, right, at the battlegrounds, and then as soon as that is done, we are able to get Te Fiti. Now, I think that for me would be my personal favorite way of sort of having the event, and maybe it's a little unrealistic to have Te Fiti in the kingdom. Again, that would be to another character that doesn't really talk that much, so I don't know. Like, I mean, she never actually speaks in the films, but they could actually make her talk, I suppose. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. Te Kā being the battlegrounds and Te Fiti being the character that we could bring in after that. Now, that would be the way I would like to see it done. But again, I think that Te Fiti could be one of those ones they add as an attraction. And that to me makes sense. But at the same time, like, it's kind of, I don't know how many characters would be able to go and visit Te Fiti. I mean, they could have all of them, but I don't know. I'm not quite sure how they're going to be able to pull that one off, though, as an attraction in some ways, even though I think it would probably look the best. All right, now let's talk about the attractions. I've already sort of started a little bit. I started with Te Fiti, so we'll start there and sort of continue with some thoughts on that. So if they do have that as an attraction, what sort of quests would we be looking at? Like, who would actually go there? Well, obviously Maui and Moana would be for sure. Hei Hei would be another one. Pua, well, they could definitely have Pua for sure. But again, it's just a matter of what they decide to do, like how Pua would get there exactly. But I mean, I'm just going off of the movie a little bit. But we could definitely have Grand Matala as well. But I'm thinking like about Te Mateo and stuff like that. I don't think he'd be welcome on Te Fiti. Just throwing it out there. He's a little bit too much of a monster for that. So let's continue with monsters. So the next attraction I think that would be really cool is the Realm of Monsters. And I think it would look something like this. Now, what other attraction does this remind you of in the game? It reminds me, at least, of Ursula's Lair. So I'm thinking that this could be the look maybe for the Realm of Monsters. This would be super cool. And naturally, we could have Moana, Maui, Hei Hei going, obviously Te Mateo. That would obviously be like the quest. Once we welcome Te Mateo, we can build the Realm of Monsters. I think that would be great. Yeah, so I think it would be fun. And two, if we did at some point, if we don't get Kakamora in the event, Kakamora would be one of those ones I would say that would go and visit the Realm of Monsters if he was in the Tower Challenge or something like that. All right, the next attraction I am thinking, and this is probably going to be a fan favorite here, is Moana's boat. Now, I was trying to figure out how this would work, because I don't want it to be too much like that ocean attraction, or it's called the ocean attraction from the Lilo and Stitch event. Naturally, that sort of, if we have two ocean attractions, I don't know how that's going to go, but I think there's a lot more interactions with the sea, obviously, in the Moana movie. So I'm thinking they could have something with Moana's boat and obviously the ocean, so that Moana can go and, I don't know, I guess speak to the ocean or whatever as one of her quests. So we'll see what happens with that. But two, that means Hei Hei and Pua can definitely go on it. It could mean that Chief Tui could go and maybe like check on the boat or do repairs on the boat or like just something like that. Naturally, I would have to say Grandma Tala would go and check it out or something like that. I don't think someone like Tamateo would be going to it, but that's okay. If all the other characters can pretty much go, then that would be fine. Now, that sort of leaves us with a couple of more options here. So that, again, we talked about Te Fiti, we talked about Moana's boat, we talked about the Realm of Monsters. Now, there's really only room for one more. So we're looking at, I'm thinking Motunui would be a really good one to do. So, the island, essentially, everybody can go there. It would be very simple. I think it would look very cool. I'm thinking, though, that they do more of a look with that, sort of based off of, collecting the coconuts or something as a quest, things like that. But I'm sort of guessing that would definitely probably be in there. I don't know how they couldn't have Motunui as an attraction for the event. Now, again, the other thing is they could just have the ocean as just its own attraction. I think that could be cool, too. You could have a lot of interactions with that. I was actually thinking that Kakamura's boat would be super duper cool if they were to do something like that, but again, I'm not quite sure how they'll do it. Now, again, the battlegrounds, I'm thinking it's gotta be Taka. I'm not quite sure of what else they would actually be able to do. Again, unless they're doing the battlegrounds with Tamateo being the villain, but otherwise it's gotta be Taka, again, which means it leaves some questions about Te Fiti. So I'm not quite sure, again, how they're going to manage to do that, but definitely I'm thinking that if, Te Fiti is a character or something like that, then this is definitely the best way to go. But I don't know how they're going to manage to pull it off if we have the attraction as being Te Fiti and the battlegrounds are Taka, because technically Te Fiti and Taka are one and the same. It's just Te Fiti without her heart. So again, I'm not sure. If you guys have any ideas about how that could work, you can leave them in the comments below. All right, so let's talk now a little bit about concession stands and decorations and the parade float. So if Moana's boat, guys, wasn't the attraction that I'm thinking it's going to be, then I would say that the parade float could easily be Moana's boat. The other thing they could do is, if the battlegrounds aren't Taka, they could do the battlegrounds being something else and do the parade float as Taka. Now that would be pretty dark though, so I'm not totally sure how that would look or work. I mean, it'd be kind of scary looking probably, but it definitely would be a pretty cool parade float. All right, now on to concession stands. So I am thinking that we get something like the Chief's hat stand. Now I'm thinking it would look something like this. So we had a scene like this in the movie, and this is the Chief's hat. Now it's different than the image I showed you with Moana's costume. Her Chief's costume, that was at the very end. This is a little bit when she's a little younger, but I think that this would be super cool on a lot of the kids walking around the park. Then the other one I was thinking is the necklace concession stand. Now I don't know if they're going to do that for sure, because I don't think that's usually something they do, but they could do a necklace stand or even like Moana's lace stand. That would be kind of fun. Another one I was thinking of would be a coconut sort of smoothie type of concession stand, or like just literally a coconut one. Now I know there already is one from a previous event. I think it was Lilo and Stitch we had that. So I don't know how they're going to make it look totally different, hence why I was thinking like a coconut smoothie, but that might be a little bit too modern for Moana, but definitely something to do with the coconuts. I don't think they'll get away from not having something to do with coconuts in the event. Okay, so those were 4 concession stands that are options and stuff like that. So those ones I think would be pretty fun and colorful for sure. Now on to decorations. They could go do a few things with this. I'm thinking the Monsters Tapestry would be really cool to sort of have in the kingdom. I think it could take up like very few squares too, which would be nice. Maybe just 6 and then that's it. Could be a little bit smaller. Which would be nice. The other one I was thinking of would be the palm tree, like just having palm trees around. We have them sort of like on the land as decorations just throughout the park, but I'm thinking that if we could actually have like coconut palm trees or something. That would be lots of fun to have. The other thing I was thinking of would be maybe some coral reef decorations and stuff, or like an oceanic, or I guess I want to say lamppost. So that I think would be really cool. I'm not sure how that exactly would look, but I think that they could do a lot with that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. So we got the 7 characters. We talked about the attractions, concessions, decorations, parade float, the battlegrounds, and the name of the actual event. I'm usually not one for picking one, but thanks to you guys, I kind of decided on how far I'll go, and I think that's actually probably a really, really, really good name for the limited time event, which I'm pretty sure is coming to Disney Magic Kingdoms sooner than we think. I'm sure it's coming in 2019 if it's not the next event for sure. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big magical thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and don't forget to wait till the very end for other video suggestions, as well as to check out the links to my other channels. So thanks guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys for the next Disney's Magic Kingdoms game video. Bye!